Hi, I'm Robin, English teacher with Core Languages, and today I decided to come to this beautiful lake only to find out that I cannot go on this dock. I can't go on this dock because it is being renovated. Listen to this statement one more time. The dock is being renovated. When someone is doing something to an object, but it isn't me who is doing it, I use the passive voice. So I cannot go on this dock, not because I am renovating it, but because someone else is renovating it. And the dock is being renovated. We need to know when and how to use the passive voice. For example, it would be incorrect to say, "This dock is renovating." In today's video, I'm going to show you how and when to use the passive voice. So the next time someone asks you, "What's up with this dock?" you can formulate a perfect English sentence.
The passive voice. In order to form a passive voice sentence, let's first review the word order in an active sentence. To make an active sentence, we use a subject, a verb, and an object. To form a passive sentence, we use a subject, a conjugated form of to be, and the past participle. For example, he reads an article. This is an active sentence. He is the subject, reads is the verb, and an article is the object of the sentence. Let's see what happens when we form a passive sentence. An article is read by him. An article, which was the object in the active sentence, has become the subject in the passive sentence. We used is and the past participle read. The subject he has slipped to the end of the sentence. In the first sentence, an article is the direct object and he is the subject. However, in the second example, an article is now the subject and he is the object pronoun, him. Emphasis is now on the action instead of the doer of the action. In order to form the passive voice, we will use a conjugated form of to be. We can form a passive sentence in the present tense or the past tense. Let's review the conjugation of to be in the simple present and the simple past. I am, you are, he, she, it is, we are, you are, and they are. I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were, you were, and they were. Let's review the word order for forming passive voice sentences. If the subject is I, he, she, or it, the conjugated form of to be is am, is, or was, followed by the past participle. If the subject is you, we, or they, the conjugated form of to be is are or were, followed by the past participle. For example, the question is asked by a student, or the dog was fed by its owner. The agent or the doer of the verb in an active sentence follows the passive and typically is preceded by the preposition by. In both cases, the agent does not need to be present for it to be a complete sentence. I could, for example, say, the question is asked, or the dog was fed. To form the past participle with regular verbs, we usually add d, ed, or ied. For example, like, liked, play, played, study, studied. Irregular verbs have many different past participle forms. For example, bring, brought, do, done, bind, bound, sit, sat, sink, sunk, speak, spoken, wake, woken. We can use the passive voice to form a positive statement. For example, the work is done, or the work was done. We can also use the passive voice to form a negative sentence. For example, the work is not done, or the work isn't done, or the work was not done, or the work wasn't done. We can also form questions in the passive voice. For example, is the work done? Or isn't the work done? Was the work done? Or wasn't the work done? There are different times and instances when we use the passive voice. We use the passive voice to emphasize an action over the person or the things that are performing the action. We use the passive voice to call attention to the object or person that or who is experiencing the action. The passive voice can be used in any tense: the simple present, the present continuous, the present perfect, and so on. For example, the thief was seen shortly after the break-in. The car is damaged by the hail. Was the door closed after you left? The dock is being repaired. Look at the following two sentences and try to form a passive voice sentence in the simple present using the verbs to hear and to sell. The house is sold. Sold is the past participle of the verb to sell. The subject in the sentence is the house, so we need to say is. The music is heard throughout the stadium. Heard is the past participle of the verb to hear, and the subject in the sentence is the music, so we need to use is. And how about this example? Try to choose the correct past participle to complete the sentence in the passive voice. They are by bad weather. Delayed spelled Y-E-D or delayed spelled A-I-D. The past participle of the verb delay is delayed spelled E-D. They are delayed by bad weather. And how about this sentence? The cake is falled on the floor, or the cake is fallen on the floor. The past participle of the verb to fall is fallen. So the correct sentence is, the cake is fallen on the floor.
Thank you for watching. I hope you now have a better understanding of how to use the passive voice. As always, if you have more questions, feel free to comment, or if you're interested in joining one of our courses with a live instructor, feel free to message us directly. I look forward to seeing you in our next class.